Welcome back to Boston's Red Carpet. I'm Tanya Mesrick, and I'm thrilled to take you inside MLK Boston's King Legacy event here at the MFA. Tonight's star-studded gala raises funds to honor Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. These individuals fought for and inspired unity and inclusiveness in Boston and this country. It's an ambitious and honorable effort to recognize their significant contributions around the world. I'm excited to tell you more, but first, let's go inside this event.
King Legacy Night.
Welcome.
Amen. I get to skip church on Sunday for you alone, madam.
The King Legacy Night is a star-studded event held at the stunning Museum of Fine Arts that celebrated the Boston legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Was there a specific moment that inspired you to want to spearhead the creation of this memorial?
Well, I've always been interested in the Kings. As someone who grew up in Boston, I've always was very aware of Dr. King's works. I think I was 12 years old the first time I read him, and I always just felt moved by the community that he describes, the future that he wanted. Given Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott's history together in Boston, that we needed something like that in our city to memorialize their time together here.
Right. I know we only have the one memorial at BU, so how will this one be different from that memorial or for any of the other memorials that we have?
We want to do something probably a little bit more significant scale and in a more central location. So the location that we ended up choosing is on the Boston Common, which is America's oldest public park. It's a 400-year-old park, and we're trying to expose the King's history in Boston to as many people as we can.
The night began with a VIP culinary reception featuring 4-time Grammy Award-winning performer Esperanza Spalding. What does it mean for you to be back here celebrating on your stomping grounds?
It feels good. I love the seeking energy here, you know? So many young people convening to expand their lives and expand their footprint of impact in the world. It's very inspiring.
Then a moving tribute to the Kings by civil rights leaders C.T. Vivian, Bakari Sellers, and Robert Lewis Jr.
Create a new human understanding.
So, Dr. Vivian, it is such an honor to have you here. President Obama has said that Dr. King calls you the greatest preacher to ever live. We're really honored to have you here today.
Yes, and they sort of stretch things.
Well, your relationship goes very far back with Dr. King. Yeah. You marched with him. What kind of advice would you have for today's youth?
Most people had a hard time reaching for the fact that this is a spiritual force that we are trying to create, right? We want to make it a nonviolent world, all right? And until that happens, we haven't even caught up with where we are.
Bakari, it's such a pleasure having you here. What do you think Dr. King would have to say?
Well, I think there are two things. The first is Dr. King's best piece of writing was a letter from the Birmingham jail. But he was addressing his colleagues, his peers, and urging them to do what they needed to do. And in his I Have a Dream speech, it wasn't the rhythmic cadence of I have a dream that one day we shall, but it was the fierce urgency of now. And I think everybody understands that we have to have that fierce urgency.
Who would have ever thought Bakari Sellers, C.T. Vivian, Tamron Hall, Robert Lewis in Boston tonight would be standing here celebrating the King legacy? So Dr. King envisioned generational. He envisioned what's possible. And what we are is representing what's the greatness of his dream.
Led by the MC of the night, former Today Show host Tamron Hall. Before the night was over, we were dazzled with performances by the New England Conservatory, featuring pop icon Taylor Dayne. If you were to dedicate one of your songs to him, which one would it be? And why?
Couple, the loving couple. I'll always love you. Absolutely. And for Boston, I would say Love Will Lead You Back. It's quite special what's going on here tonight.
And a concert by the timeless American band Earth, Wind, and Fire. The sold-out event raised funds for King Boston's efforts to create lasting tributes to the King's legacy here in Boston and beyond. How cool is this? We've got Common on stage who's rapping at the King Boston event.
In the future, we wasn't shipped here to rob and shoot ya. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal, including black Americans. Thank you, y'all. Appreciate it. Thank you, King Boston. Thank you.
What kind of power and influence is this going to have on them?
I think that young people today need real heroes. So to kind of reinvigorate that legacy of Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, having it speak to the times that we do have the right to hope and we can have dreams about a better life, and there is a need for economic justice. The same issues he was talking about more than 50 years ago, we're still facing today. And so this memorial and the programming around it is going to bring that back to life in so many ways, and I think young people will benefit from that.
So now you see why the King Legacy Night is supporting such a crucial initiative here in Boston. I can't wait to see the King Memorial come to life.